Hey everybody, welcome back for game 4, which is Dignitas versus CLG. Now we have to remember that CLG is trying to play spoiler out of this situation. I'm Riv, I'm still here. Kangas,
I'm here, and I'm ready to watch
As
CLG be Cloud9's best friend here and give Dignitas a loss, because Dignitas winning here locks them in for playoffs. And I mean, this is the best case scenario for them, but Cloud9's rooting for CLG. Like, no, make those guys lose. We want to be in first place secured by ourselves. Pull some shenanigans out here.
And we're looking mainly at Fracas as we get into picks and bans here to see what this gentleman can provide us with. He has been quite Sejuani, Trundle, Olaf, Sejuani, but they're not pulling up anything. Obviously, these aren't the killers. They're not going to assassinate things, but just the score lines have not been able to bring the jungle difference that they...
Yeah, Fracas is an interesting player to watch. When he's playing the tanks, sometimes we see his worst performances, but that's what he's known best for. I actually like to see Fracas more on things like the Lee Sin, like the Rek'Sai. He's even been playing some Karthus too, and that got them a win. So, or actually, sorry, no, that one did not get them a win. But I mean, when he does play some of the more aggressive things, even like Olaf, he looks just better on those. So I want CLG to think, okay, let's try and open up Fracas, allow him to do a little more rather than tank duty, and see if that can help out the map, especially when you have a carry top laner like Deus, who they can't play around. But we're already into pick and bans, so we can get caught up here. Dignitas taking away that Trundle. It's a top pick for him, but they get the set.
And we're looking for Dig here to return to the former glory. No more slipping, no more sliding. That win streak was huge, and you're right, with the set, that's something they can't provide a victory with. Is that Draven? Is that
Draven? I don't know.
I'd like to see it. Let's see. 2-12 for Chronologic Gaming. Locking in the stuff that could just impact play every fight, and Draven would be one of those. Sejuani can still do it. 2 seconds left on that clock, and they're going to go with safe for Fracas in the jungle with a big initiation.
Interesting to note, Ornn has not been banned yet. We know that Deus is not the biggest Ornn player. He has played it before. He only one time actually in the first week, the first day, has been prioritizing more of carries since then. But, or sorry, I'm actually misspeaking there. He has played it a few times, but they don't want to lock it in here. They go for the Misfortune instead. I'm curious if Dignitas will grab that. It's still a top pick, and they can flex the set around if they want.
MF feels good for Wind as he is back in for Chronologic Gaming. That was stick save for a few weeks past. Looking to play on the Academy team as they switch things up here at the end of the split. It's a safe lane as Ezreal gets hovered, and Demonte will be able to pick up the final lock-in for your first phase. The Braum Ezreal, I don't doubt it. I don't disagree, I should say, with the MF on the
Yeah, the Braum's very strong to MF, and it's also a counter to Ornn if CLG wants to lock it in. So they're kind of getting a double counter here, even though CLG hasn't shown their top laner yet. But we know that said, you can play it pretty well into the Ornn also. So Dignitas say, okay, we're not going to prioritize that. We don't need to grab it right away. We're going to see what CLG grabs. This would be interesting, and they lock it in. The Rakan. Rare to see it not paid with a Xayah, but they want to play with Misfortune.
Right? The Misfortune Rakan. Right. We'll see what happens here. It's interesting. There's still quite a bit of speed with Misfortune, so you can get some movement out of that. You obviously don't battle dance as far, but you two both have decent mobility with those champions, so you can get yourself to safety or to a fight.
And Rakan's always one of those supports. If you can get out a lane, you can do a lot. So thinking about that, Braum, thinking, okay,
Bobby boots. And
exactly. Like, okay, if Braum throws up the shield, we can't really kill anybody, but what if I just follow Fracas around in the jungle and we look for something else? We haven't seen a lot of teams today actually pull that off. Again, because of that slight nerf to Moby's, now 700 gold. That's actually a huge impact on these supports that build that item. So we'll see if Phil's able to actually get that quickly enough to really pull it off. But there we go. No surprise. Dignitas banning away the Ornn. They don't want to leave it up through 2 ban phases and let CLG grab that one again.
Gangplank taken away as well. Let's get back into the picks. We already see what the bottom half of the map has. So what is our top half?
I mean, we just saw Nocturne into set. Maybe CLG's been practicing it too. We've seen things like Kled played into set too today, so they have options. But typically against set, you want something that can duke it out with him, and this is what they draft. It's the Renekton.
I like it. Could be mid lane, but we're definitely going to need some AP, so maybe it's a Renekton and a Victor would be a decent... I'd love that composition here from Counter.
A lot of lockdown.
They've seen in mid. Syndra Zoe. He did play Ornn in mid, but that's been banned. He does not have a Victor play along the line, so maybe we won't see that. but they are going to need some AP at this point.
There we go.
Dignitas finds theirs in some Zoe and maybe a Gragas.
Gragas would make a lot of sense here. He's still a very strong jungler in his own right. It adds that extra little bit of AP that your team could use. And you already have the Braum to be kind of your pseudo frontline anyway against this Misfortune. As of right now, you don't...
You're going to set there.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, you don't need a secondary primary frontline. But hey, I mean, if CLG grabs something like this, Victor, that would be another reason to have a take. And that actually, the more you say that, the more I think about it, the more I like it with the lockdown CLG's bringing in. But there we go. It's going to be Gragas for Dignitas. They do lock that jungler in. Curious what CLG will answer with their mid lane.
A lot of things they'll face, as we were saying, on that front line are going to be able to block or have enough health. So Syndrome may not work here, even though it's one of the easiest things to go for. Orianna could be there. You're going to be displacing the tanks a bit, which gives your team bigger time to fight. I kind of like that for Misfortune as well.
There we go.
It creates a different fight she can stand around and have somebody to ult, so they have a way to lock quite a few things down. Especially Rakan's going to be causing chaos. What are you thinking, Ken?
Well, I mean, every time I see an Orianna locked in, I immediately think, who can you combo with? The tried and true classic was always Orianna J4, but when Xayah Rakan came out, we actually saw teams find a lot of success playing Rakan plus Ori. It's a beautiful ball engage system because the Rakan already functions as engage. You knock them all up, and then Tuesday's able to provide even more CC. You have Wind there that can throw out the bullet time, and theoretically you can just pop anybody instantly with that combo, but you have to pull off the combo. You have to actually find the right initiation, and against things like an Ezreal and a Zoe, it can be kind of hard to find that sometimes.
It really, really can. I'm excited to see what happens as we go into our next game of the day. If they have been quite fast, 2 on the blue, 1 on the red, as TSM and Cloud9 have taken wins. And then we just saw FlyQuest pick up their unexpected win, which moves them up in the standings. So could it be CLG to take one off a Dig? We'll have to find out. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we will be back with the game. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Riv and Kangas here to bring you game number 4 of the day. Academy is running hot, and they're going fast, Kangas. These games are flying. We got Dig versus CLG, and we're
already 3 games in, and it's only 3 p.m. This isn't. We started at 12:30, right? It's 2.5 hours for 3 games. What's going on, guys? We can slow it down, okay? I mean, I like the tempo. I like the kill counts we're getting, but let's get some longer games here. I want to be entertained.
Absolutely. Well, we're about to be entertained a little bit more by one of the top teams in the Academy League. Dignitas sits at 10-4. Cloud9 just above them, locking in their playoff position already today. And CLG looking to play a bit of spoiler here and bringing in a composition that looks like they can have some fun.
Yeah, like I said, Cloud9 is cheering on CLG right now from the sidelines because if CLG can get this win, Cloud9 will take secured first place, as they're the first team to actually lock in that playoff position. Dignitas, they're looking for that. And again, this is technically best case scenario for them. This win will secure their spot, and they're also against CLG, who are the only team that's been locked out of playoffs so far. So when you just look at paper, this is very favored for Dignitas. They got to be feeling happy about this, but it's that time of the season where CLG can always play upset, and they're looking to improve the best ways that they can and looking for ways to take down these teams just to improve for, summer split. And sometimes those teams are the most dangerous. They'll try out crazy things. They'll try Renekton into set topside. Why not?
Heck yeah, absolutely. And we were talking a little bit about Fragus and if he can step up as well. Going against Grig now, who was on the LCS team for a bit. So it'll be good to kind of test his mettle against what Grig has to offer on the Gragas. Both decently early game junglers, and we'll see if they try to get in each other's hair here to start the game off. We've been seeing teams try to kind of push each other's hand in the early game and move it the way they want and dictate something. We saw last game FlyQuest going topside to push Lorem's Nocturne out of the lane. Seems like a basic line of scrimmage here to start things off is Grig. Grig, what are you doing in base? Coming out with the minions down there.
Well, we did notice he went to the topside. He dropped a ward down early. I think it might have been cleared. Yeah. I don't see it on the map right now.
Ooh.
Huh. Unless he's the one. No. Because Phil also did the same thing, dropping a ward down on the bot side and then backing for the sweeper. Less popular for support to do it. I mean, ideally, the reason a jungler wants to do it, if you want to go for an early gank, you can scout out to see if it's warded ahead of time. Or you can make sure that you're not spotted in your own jungle. If you want to make sure that the enemy can't track where you're going, if you're afraid of them invading you, you can also make sure that you're safe. But given this current matchup, I think that this is great for Grig if he wants to get aggressive. He wants to look for an early gank, sweep it out to make sure that there's no one spotting you.
Pings on the top side, too. I think they're calling that. Yeah, Fragus just got help on red. Deus did not come to lane right away. And there's already a slight push from Lorlo. So Deus gets the farm under turret. But a little bit of an idea of where Fragus is could help Grig there.
Knowing he's on the bot side, knowing that you can hover around here. It says Ronnie's not known to be a jungler that will go for these crazy early ganks. You can really get punished for it. Yeah, if you pull it off, great, that's a kill. That feels amazing. But if you don't pull it off, it says Ronnie's not known for your jungle clear speed, so you're really put behind at that point. So we'll see if Fragus what he wants to actually do here. Seems like it's just going to be the clear strategy. Gets that top camp, goes towards the bot side, and similar from Grig.
Yeah, I think the early part of my game, if I ever play Sejuani, is like, I cannot wait to kill Scuttles. I kill them so fast. When does the Scuttle spawn? I will not gank until. Right? You're just
I have
like,
CC for days. You will have no armor.
Yeah.
This is great. But if we notice what Tuesday did right there, again, just trying to track each jungler, spends time to push mid and then roams towards that top jungle, drops a ward over so they know that the blue buff hasn't been taken, as Dignitas actually getting some cheeky poke in onto CLG's bot lane, but they should be able to spot out Grig as soon as he starts this up.
Phoenix on that shift in gave me a bit of a heart attack there. He was going in to keep that proc. They want to try to get concussive blows down, but not happen in that time. And pretty even CS around the map. Everybody's got it just off the turrets, so nobody has to worry about getting poked under as well. Potions are still pretty plentiful for everybody, and we have our talisman junglers, so it's not like they have too much to worry about.
Ooh, damn.
Good fight.
Wait a minute.
On the top side. Ooh, misses that haymaker out on the slice and dice. Fragus coming in. They have a flash for Lorlo. He's waiting, but he's gonna hold it, and he goes down first. Blood coming in for counter logic.
And Cloud9 players rejoice. CLG get first blood and get an advantage for themselves in the top lane. This is what you want to do against a set. Find something that can get a lead over him and then punish him in a 1v1 situation. Renekton getting that first blood is huge for Deus right now. Once you get that back, you can spend that gold. Suddenly lane is a lot easier for you.
Ooh, what does he want? He had 2 long swords. Says, nah, give me the sustain. So now he can do Call of the Meek, get even more HP, especially if he's over 50% bar. Like, he's really going for the I want to be in your face, and I think you're going to be attacking me at the same time play.
That sustain will feel great against this set, but the one thing for Dig is that they get a really good freeze here on this top lane. Lorlo gets a lot of CS, a lot of solo lane experience that Deus is missing out on. So Deus is going to have to make this early buy worth it in order to actually, you know, push this lead.
Maybe that's what he saw. He's like, 2 long swords. Oh, I'm pushed up in the lane. I need to sustain.
Yep. Let's be a little safe here.
He's like, take this back. I still have the receipt. Here you go. Coming up on 5 minutes into the game. And just still a bit of back and forth. And I guess there's timing there, if you think about it, for Fracas going around his jungle, knowing he started top. But his first gank was a return towards top after starting red. So going the long way around.
Yeah, but it's great to see those Sejuani ganks actually work out. Again, if you miss it, you're really behind, but he gets that gank early on.
We scoffed at it.
Gets the first back as well. So now back onto Summoner's Rift, has a little bit of priority over Grig here, who just completed his first back to get those boots, has the Predator potential for a gank. But this means that Fragus, for the time being, should have a little bit more tempo to impact these side lanes. Grig's going to have to look to start clearing these camps here just to stay up to date, but I like that from Dignitas. Demonte taking some time again away from lane. You love to see it from your mid laners, you know, when they say, okay, it's not always about pushing a lane over and over again. You got to get vision down. You got to make sure that we see where the enemy jungler is.
We'll teleport back down to bot, get in his lane. I remember there was one year we were tracking whether or not Bjergsen was going to buy a pink ward, and it was all like 6, 7, 8 games in. We're like, nothing yet, nothing yet. That was a long time ago, though. A little dice out of there to keep himself safe from Grig coming top. Predators on as he has boots now, so they're trying to get back onto that. And he sees Fragus now going for that Krug life. There's a bit of a fight on all fronts here. Good block by Ole. Nothing really goes on to the top side. And we see that bottom fizzles out as well. I think Phoenix just dodged a big double up there as it hit the minion to his side. Lucky draw.
But this is really good news for CLG. I mean, their bot lane has been one of their weaknesses in Academy. It's been tough to watch them lose some of matchups that I would say they should be winning, but they're smashing this right now, constantly pushing in Phoenix and providing this pressure. And then also on the top side, Deus is able to absorb that pressure that they put on him. Now has a good freeze for himself. It'll start to slow push towards the Lorlo, but catching up a little on this CS. Yeah. You got to be careful with all that vision, though. Dignitas hard committed just to get the Krugs taken away from Fragus. I love to see junglers when, you know, there's not enough action in the early game. They're like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to go fight you for Krugs.
Yep. And that placement, I would say, I was like, there's a lot of investment in pinks, too. But that pink doesn't get passed through too much until you're trying to dive top lane, right? Until Fragus needs to think he's setting up for a dive. So they see him on Krugs every time for the future until that gets taken down. So really good pressure for Lorlo to do what he wants towards his top side. The pressure for CLG, however, is on the Drake. And that is going to be an Wind being taken over on their side. Infernal comes up, so Ocean or Mountain will change.
But again, CLG played that pretty well. Dignitas had 2 options. Either they can try and contest the dragon, or they can try and make a play onto the top side. Deus had no vision to see where Grig was, but he was sticking around, trying to bait out, okay, maybe the jungler's going to be up here. He wasn't. He was just taking a camp. But at the end of the day, it's that kind of play that I like to see from CLG. When they're making their opponent have these tough decisions, you know, do we try and gank the top laner who's vulnerable but still has flash and slice and dice, or do we try and contest this dragon? They don't do either. CLG gets both, and now they're feeling really good here, but they got to look for the next play as well. League of Legends is never a static game. You always need to keep the pressure going forward.
Yeah, and you see right here, Phil 5, Fragus 6, Wind 6. It's almost had that engage, except Dignitas was able to step off enough for the grand entrance not to work. A level 6 would have, though, so they fizzled that one out. CLG, Fragus is definitely making moves across the map. He's trying to find a little bit more to do, and he's trying to be omnipresent here, which is good to see. I don't know if he's playing a game of cat and mouse here with Grig on the other side of the wall, but it seems like it might be a 2v2 sprouting up.
Gotta be careful. Sleepy Trouble lands. There should be some poke here onto Fragus. It's not going to stick for too long. He's still a pretty tanky Sejuani, but Demonte, again, roaming towards that jungle side means that there is a push here from Tuesday. CLG also have a push happening on the top side. They could go for this Rift Herald now and continue their objective-focused gameplay right now.
Absolutely. I think Wind can push this up. You're going to see maybe a rotation Phil, or at least to make sure he is close for a long fight if it keeps
There
going.
we go.
And yeah, he's still walking up. Blue buff gets taken over. Tuesday's going to feel real nice with that.
That was great from CLG, and they still have priority enough to start up this Rift Herald. This is not the same CLG Academy that we've been witnessing throughout the season. And again, they're against Dignitas Academy, tied for first place, 10-4 right now. With the, I mean, everyone's been memeing and saying, okay, this is actually an LCS roster. This isn't an Academy roster. So to see this kind of play from CLG, it's reassuring for the fans, to say the least. But Dignitas aren't going to give anything for free. They're going to lose this top Rift Herald, but they'll at least get some turret plates on the bot side, and they are getting Venus back into this game.
I think that is one of the interesting things that people say as well. Like, if this was a team that started at the beginning of the season, right, and you saw their caliber play against LCS teams, they'd be an LCS team. I think the only caveat is them they playing an academy, but you're right. They do have that prowess to make it happen. We've seen it before. And Tuesday here in the mid lane wants to shut down DeMonte. A few more attacks, but they don't have the vision just yet as he sees the Predator over his head. He's going to be able to call Phil down from the bot lane. That pressure on that bot side of the map has allowed them to get a few more instances of safety that get them back into lane. Cleanse there from Tuesday, both summoners from
Yeah, you'll take that trade for Tuesday. You don't have to use your own flash to avoid the gank from Grig. That was really close, though. If Grig had thrown out the explosive cast, I definitely think Tuesday would have had to flash that, but a little bit of hesitation from Grig means that Tuesday does get out. And it is important to note, this is a slightly different Dignitas than we were seeing earlier on in the split. They have been playing with Acadian mostly. Now there was that switcheroo, Acadian going to the LCS stage and Grig coming into Academy. So CLG seem to be capitalizing on that and trying to push the most that they can, having some of their own roster swaps. I mean, Wind coming back in for Stixay. They've been toying around to see what works best. So far, it's looking all right.
It absolutely is, especially towards the end of the season when everybody's kind of set in the motions and you're expecting these calls. You played early game a certain way, so to see CLG kind of find new life in being able to play this freely. Also, the nothing to lose
Here we
mentality.
go.
They're pulling the trigger on everything that they can. Again, here in the mid lane, 3 versus 1, and DeMonte is done. A kill coming up there for Tuesday as they start to spread the wealth across the...
Yeah, they know that there's no flash, there's no heal, and no safety for DeMonte in that mid lane. Beautiful from Counterlogic Gaming, understanding they could do that. And they also have the Rift Herald. I'm surprised they actually didn't drop that right away in the mid lane, just capitalize on some of those turret plates. Grig is there to kind of answer, and Gragas is good at clearing waves in his own right. So CLG decided, no, we're going to save that Rift Herald for a rainy day.
It looks like they might have eyes on Grig here, just off on the wing. Fragus holds as we watch bot lane farming it out. 113, 114 as it goes up to 111. Pretty safe there. And I mean, Phoenix has to be happy. He's just stacking the tier, and he has a Sheen to kind of aggro back on any double ups that really hit him. Cull as well in that sense. So the Cull being out may mean that Phoenix is using 10% of his brain, as he does say. When he plays here now on the bot side.
Is that what he says? I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah. He says, in mid lane, I don't have to worry about too much. Everybody says things. In bot lane, if I use 10%, I can kill everybody. So
All it takes is 10% of his brain.
all it takes is 10%.
Wow, that's a big brain player right there.
He better be thrashing.
Yeah, he's got no excuse. He's got to hard carry this game now. We'll see if he can do that. But I'm happy to also, I mean, we mentioned this earlier, that Phil's not going to get too much done in this bot lane. So this should be a free farming lane for Phoenix like we've been seeing. But he's roaming around. He's got those Mobies early enough. He got the kill onto DeMonte early mid. Now he's going mid again to just kind of back up this Rift Herald play. And that will be a first turret over to Counterlogic Gaming. Dragons up. They can turn their sights onto this next.
Top lane being saved off as it's actually backing here. CLG is just like, you know what? We're going to recoup a bit of vision before we finally do this. Phil is going to be able to make his way back out pretty quick with those Moby boots already purchased up. Glacial Shroud for him. Kind of a same thing on both sides here, but actually without those Moby boots being finished for Ole, he's quickly to that convergence, so now they can offer a bit more to Phoenix in the fights with his offense.
Yeah, Ole as the Braum just puts probably the raw stats for these team fights for the team. We also see that Phoenix has a lot of gold. Wind is only just resetting, but oh, that was good from Phoenix, stopping that reset. Wind's got a lot of gold to spend right now, so he definitely wants to get back and actually capitalize on this, but this allows Phoenix to push out. They might even be able to take this bottom turret, and CLG never took that dragon mid after the mid lane play. So this is an opportunity for Dig to actually find a window to really punish CLG's delayed reset here.
Already able to clear a bit of vision towards that bot side. Slowly walking into frag.
Oh no.
Give himself
Oh
up.
no.
Wait a minute.
Oh!
He walked right into it. Phoenix could be going down, and he falls immediately. It's going to be snuffed out as Ole as well, as the Drake looks to be Counter Logic Gaming's. And I mean, there's a lot of distance between him and that brush, but you got to remember there's a Sejuani on the other side, and the fog of war is not something to mess with. 11 minutes in, 14 minutes.
I guess 10% of his brain is not enough for the reaction time of a distortion or a flash there. Phoenix could not get away from the glacial prison, and Seal, that's the combo that we were talking about earlier. It's the Rakan plus the Orianna. You just can't move at all, especially when the Sejuani's locking you down. So Ole, he went for the stats with his build, trying to win that next dragon fight, but after that play that goes to CLG, they get the fight, they get the extra gold, and they are putting Dignitas on the ropes right now. This is not how we expected this game to go based on how these teams have been performing this season.
No, it is not. The break seems to have reinvigorated the early games of teams who did not find a good 15 or at 10-minute stats. It seems to be catapulting a few of them over those average stats they had before. We'll see if CLG can keep this up, though. It's a 4,000 gold lead, 4-0. Very reminiscent of our games today, where you have seen a deathless game that's ahead. Deus now getting himself into some trouble, but they could be back onto Greg, and they're going to trade that kill right back. You thought one would go down, but they pick up another kill for themselves. And you already have Tuesday coming into the mid lane. CLG stays safe in the bot, as there is chaos.
Yeah, Lorlo actually plays himself a little bit there. He tries to use the ultimate to help get Deus under his turret, but it was while Greg was engaging onto him, so Greg misses the damage and the engage. Lorlo actually carries Deus to a safer position, not getting him fully under the turret, and then CLG is able to turn that play around. That was a huge play from CLG, just being able to be in the right place at the right time and capitalize on the misynergy from Dignitas' champions that they have. Gets them the kill, gets them another Rift Herald. This is 2 of the game. And Riv, I mean, you were saying this. The first 2 games both had a chance to go perfect. This one does too. 5-0, 1 turret to 0, 2 dragons to 0, and CLG are pulling out the surprise plays right now against Dignitas.
They definitely have seemed to find the team synergy that works. Maybe it is the carefree setting. Obviously, at 2-12, you're not going to see CLG heading to the playoffs, but they are showing that they had the composition, or at least the communication and the teamwork to be able to do this. Here, Phil, able to roam a bit. They can't be too sure. They get themselves ahead and then fall into a false sense of security while they're warding. We just saw that happen to Phoenix. So CLG still has to play it smart. There's still a method to this madness coming in here. 20 CS lead in the mid lane, and everything else is quite even. So all things considered, still a very even game.
Even in terms of the CS, but CLG with those advantages from the turret plates on the bot side too. They find themselves with a 4,000 gold lead. And also on the top side, I mean, it all started there, right? Deus got that early gank. He got the first blood onto Lorlo, and that really was what allowed CLG to play with so much confidence throughout the rest of the game. And we look at the build. He's capitalizing on this buffed Blade of the Ruin King. Now it's 12% extra percent health damage when you're a melee champion that builds it. And Lorlo has not opted to build for any tanky stats. He doesn't have the Bramble Vest like I expected him to go after giving up that first blood. Still trying to fight it out. But it seems like you're not going to win at this point against the Renekton in the side lane. Maybe eventually if the game can go late enough you can, but I'd love to see Lorlo actually get some armor, actually get some tanky stats, and just try and weather the storm. Be more of a tanky frontline for the team.
Even that Bramble.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah. Just the healing reduction onto Deus would feel so good in the 1v1, but we'll see if he decides to build into that later. As of now, he's prioritizing more of the wave clear as well. This item will allow him to get that extra AD, the extra little push. Just trying to absorb these lanes as they come in, but CLG, they might even make another play onto him top side. They still have Fragis around the area.
He's got 20, or I'm sorry, not 20. I was looking at the vision score on top of his Herald. I was going to say he has just about halftime on that Rift Herald to use in the hands of Fragis. Where they decide to put that is really their choice with the auto being down. If you can get this fight, oh my, it's going to be actually huge. Will they be able to kill him, though? Demonte gets pushed out of the fight. He's able to live for just a little bit longer. He may be able to return some paddle stars. Ole now lives, but here comes the rest of CLG. Lorlo tries to get him back with that showstopper, and somehow Counter Logic Gaming is just microing themselves in and out to be the low health taking damage and the higher, I'm sorry, the high health taking damage and the low health finding.
How did nobody die there? That was amazing.
I don't know.
The engage from CLG, or the flank rather from CLG, the engage from Dignitas, re-engage from CLG.
Yeah.
Everyone with blinking health bars. At the end of the day, no one actually goes down, but that whole time, Wind wasn't even there. That was a 5v4 for Dignitas, and they couldn't pull it off, so Wind's able to push in the bot lane, and they should get this third dragon of the game. So it's one of those fights where it's a little awkward. No one died, but still advantage to CLG.
It's a fight where you have to hold your breath. When Wind is not there, it's something to be scared of, right? 5-0. Coming up on 20 minutes. Dignitas looks hungry. They said, let us just rush into this river. They might be doing it, and we need to force them off immediately with just power and numbers. But Tuesday's heading back in. Blue buff for him, so he can stay topped off on his resource. But this is probably going to turn into it.
I mean, Dignitas is doing this without priority top or priority bot side, though. Both these waves are pushing in, so even if they get this dragon, CLG is still doing a good job of just making sure that they have more XP, they have more gold income. They drop the Herald mid, so now Dig has to answer this, and they can either choose to go for an engage or for this dragon. I think that the idea should be the dragon. Let's see if they actually go for it, because Dignitas was able to get some key wards down in CLG's jungle that they haven't swept out yet, so Dignitas can actually kind of spot out what they're trying to do here.
It's a great job by CLG. Just encroached a ward to where Grig is in that brush behind red, and they cleared out a few pinks with that Rift Herald. So it's like, yeah, we don't get a turret, but the vision we gain off of dropping Rift Herald is much more important. I love the kind of back and forth and what you measure for what you get. Hit onto Lorlo, fills onto the back line already with that gate, or with that ultimate from Rakan, and it looks like
Wind.
we're not going to get hit by the bullet time. Quickness ends, fills back into the fight with his team, and Griggs over the wall. Can he get the smite down? He cannot. It's actually going to Tuesday. CLG picks up the Ocean Drake, and now it is going to be soul point for them. As the fight continue, it does not, and it looks like it will only be Grig going down.
Yeah, that was an aggressive play from Dignitas. I thought that they could actually turn that one around for a second. Wind was throwing out the ultimate while Dragon was hitting him the whole time.
Yep.
Got very low, but is able to clutch that one out at the end. They don't actually get the kill with the team fight. It was a 50-50 as Grig got into the pit, but it seems like he smote a little early. Tuesday was able to get the dragon secured, so CLG sweating a little bit there. They do get it. It wasn't as clean as maybe they were hoping, but hey, they got the objective and they got the kill.
Still deathless on that side of CLG.
Still a perfect game, yeah.
It's kind of just it's the message you send, right? It really doesn't matter if you're deathless going through the game, unless you're Sven, I guess, then it might matter. He leaves up some Krugs.
Ooh, Phil. You were playing aggressive, friend. I don't know if this is the best idea. He gets... Oh, no! Just like that. Ole's the one that gets the kill. I thought it would go out to one of the carries, but the support takes it. But hey, at least it's no longer a perfect game. Dignitas do take one member down.
Yep. Now back to ward clearing here. Diggs, they've been hunting for a little bit here, and they are able to find Philly. He should have known that there were going to be stragglers of Dignitas ready to tack on to a fight that only looked like a 1v1. You're 21 minutes in, 22. This is the point in time when you get out of the base and you want to use your items to say, hey, just how much damage do I do? And with 3 of them, it's more than enough to take down Ole for 30 seconds.
Yeah, they commit 2 ultimates, but they take down Ole. He didn't have any summoner spells available, so it's an easy pickup for CLG. Phil's back onto the map, so now it's actually CLG that can establish control around Baron yet again. They just need to clear out the Dignitas vision, drop some vision of their own, and look for another play. Here it is.
Monte gets out. I thought Tuesday was going to go a little bit harder on that, but he stays back with the cleanse. He is safe. Lore low now has to get himself to safety. It's weird watching Set and Rakan interact because you're like, they're flying, they're diving. Did you use Showstopper? No, he's just diving around with quickness. Those two are just flying all over, so it's interesting to see who's actually getting the engage in their favor. Looks like nobody really comes out the winner on that. 7-1, and CLG still has a 6,000 gold lead. 3-0 on Deus. He has been huge for the team with Tuesday following up on an Orianna pick we really didn't expect.
Yeah, the Orianna's been looking great with the combos of the Rakan. Following up on Fragus's engages as well. And also, I just want to give a special shout out. You know, congratulations, Wind. You participated in a kill this game, friend. Took you a while.
There it is.
But you were able to get one assist.
Everybody else is quite good kill participation. But it's been good. He's just off on the side lane, farming it up. 230 to 220. And we'll see, it's only been that kill going over to, like you said, Ole. So not like a huge item completion for somebody. No bounty to pick up because there is about, what is that, 1,150 gold to pick up as a bounty on the side of CLG.
Yeah.
So quite a bit there that could be in the pockets of Dignitas quite soon. And those players know how to use an advantage. They know how to play from behind, so I would not count them out on this game. Coming up at 24 minutes, Baron is up, and nobody has tempted it just yet. We have a minute and a half for that Soul Ocean.
When I'm looking at CLG's composition, I think that they have a great opportunity to fight around the Baron, but not the fastest Baron taking team per se. So it feels like they're just trying to go for setup still right now, trying to push these waves, and they've been doing this the whole game, making sure that constantly top and bottom are pushed against Dignitas. So even if Dignitas wants to do something, they're losing something for it. And that's what you like to see from the team. Deus really taking advantage of this 3-0 lead he has over Lorlo, constantly pressuring him. But does Lorlo actually want to take this? It's a 1v1. I don't know if he wins that.
Woof. It just looks painful. You also, I mean, even if you start getting away, he has Blade of the Rune King, so it's going to be scary. Just looking at some of the builds, too. I was looking at Phoenix. You don't see Iceborne Gauntlet too much. Obviously, he's going to be kiting the heck out of this team to try and get off him. But he also grabbed the Executioners. Like, there's a lot of extra things in here with that Quicksilver Sash, too, that they have to tack on for Deus, right? That you have to get in there for just a few heals. Phil's not doing too much. But, you know, that could have been a Bramble Fest quite early.
Yeah, you're delaying the build for Ezreal by doing this. And that's the key, is it's good for CLG knowing that, okay, we don't have to worry about this Ezreal hitting a big power spike anytime soon, although he did just complete his Mana Immune into the Muramana, so that feels good. For Phoenix, of course, his Qs hit a little harder, but yeah, he's going for more of the defensive build here. And because the Bramble Vest not picked up on Lorlo, yep, the Executioners, just gold spent on this Ezreal. You gotta actually make it worth it, though. You gotta hit that onto the key members. Deus is the one I'm looking at in particular, the Grievous Wounds onto this Renekton. Because he's a good frontliner, but only if you're able to heal. So I like that. Oh,
right.
Oh, Ole throws out the heal. It's for the movement speed to get faster to the Dragon Pit. You love to see it, but oh, it's just engaged from CLG. They try to find Lorlo. Beautiful shield from Ole, but the shockwave coming in from Tuesday over the wall goes Deus, and CLG are running away with it. That's a triple kill to Tuesday. Do they want more? Phoenix gets over the wall. CLG chase Dignitas away, and they will earn that Dragon Soul.
Oh, the switcheroo on the command shockwave was so good. He threw up the shield in front. It brought Lorlo back in front of the shield and Ole to the back. That was a really awesome interaction, but you called it perfectly. CLG is just running away with it.
The team fight capability of these 5 players cannot be understated right now. They are playing as a unit, and they are finding these fights against Dignitas, who are opting into them. They ran straight for that dragon and tried to start that one off themselves, but CLG said, nope, we're just going to ult Lorlo. He can't get in, and try and use that showstopper on anybody, and we'll blow him up. Ole had a good shield, but you mentioned it yourself, Riv. The shockwave from Tuesday prevented all of that blocking. And CLG not only get the dragon, not only win the team fight, they now claim the Baron. So with Dragon Soul and the Baron buff, it's only a matter of time till they're able to close this one out with a 9,000 gold lead. Dignitas looking for a miracle play to stay into this game and stay tied for first place with Cloud9.
Those were really a good time to fight, as well as we saw Wind completing Infinity Edge just a couple minutes before. Really impactful items here from the side of CLG. And like you're saying, Kangas, they are continuing to control this game. And it's not something we've really seen from them before, but they are not hesitating to keep it going. It's like they've been doing this style of play all the time. They seem very useful.
It feels so much better than what they've looked like throughout the split. This is what you want to see from the team. You know, improvement. They're looking better. This is really good for them to have some hype going into the summer split. Yes, they're out of playoffs for now, but they still can play upset. You know, they can still show, hey, we deserve to be here. We're going to be putting our best foot forward as we improve as a team and get ready for that summer split coming up in a few months.
Absolutely. And it doesn't become a time when Dignitas says, hey, it's one we can give up. That's not a case ever. There are no gimmies or give-ups here for the teams at the top of the standings. You want every win. And this one may be a little tougher than they expected. Now on to Deus, that's going to be 500 gold bounty if they can pick this one up. You're looking at about 1,400 across the team
He's
of CLG.
so big.
Oh my god, the 3v1! Then they have Fragus coming down too! Lorlo's stocked up! Dea's coming in with the cavalry! And this is gonna be Dignitas not taking a fight that they wanted. They are gonna try to run out of this one. And will they get more kills? Ole's gonna go down. Demonte's getting hit up by Wind already as he's coming in on the flank. The bullet time! Almost hitting. As he just steps outside, Ole able to fake a little Neo dodging there as he gets himself to safety, but CLG on the railroad tracks and rolling straight through Dignitas.
That's got to be game right there, Riv. CLG have all members up. They took down 2 members of Dignitas that are still down, and they can just push these Baron-empowered minions in, take down the Nexus turret. They might look for another fight here. Dignitas have to engage. They cannot just let these go down, but they cannot find their way in. CLG will become Cloud9's best friends and take down Dignitas.
Absolutely. I was going to make the same kind of end call. A lot of fans after this game in the form of Blue, of C9 and CLG, with CLG coming up 12-1, sub 30 minutes over one of the top teams in the Academy League. Absolutely incredible stuff for them to come and show out. And it did kind of take that, break down the border of kind of stress and things are happening. They played so carefree. They played so fluid. It was awesome.
They pulled off the combos that they drafted for their team to pull off. The Sejuani for the primary engage, Rakan for the follow-up with the Ori to just keep that CC chain going. And they pulled that off, I believe, 3 different times that game. That was very impressive to see. Sometimes a team will draft that, but they don't get an opportunity to use it. But CLG, they drafted it, they found it, and they pulled it off with the victory. So congratulations, CLG. That feels great towards the end of their season.
You know, we came into this game saying Fragus needs to step up. Well, starting on his red, getting a bit of help. It was known where he started, right? Or you can run into the jungle and fake it. But an idea goes through his jungle and still performs the gank top, then continues to follow up. He got Deus so big that everything Deus did was able to put on a silver platter for his team. So Fragus definitely showed up this game.
Yeah, and it was on a tank too. I was saying I want to see him on Lee Sin. I want to see him on Rek'Sai.
That's right.
CLG said, nope, we're going to commit to the tanks, and this time it's going to work out for us, and they did just that. So good job, Gragas. You had a great game.
Heck yeah. So we do see CLG picking up the win over Dignitas. There is one more break before we head to Game 5, which pits Team Liquid Academy versus the evilest of geniuses. We'll be right back. See you soon.